Hey guys, it's Enrage Super Fitness, and what I'd like to talk to you about today is just really quickly my take on the if it fits you macros fad and my experience with it. So if you guys have seen my transformation video, it's the only one that's got like a good number of views on my channel. Ignore the music if you don't like it. I enjoy it, so that's why it's on there. But essentially, for the last sort of about 10 months now, I've gone through quite a lengthy bulk cycle, slowly transitioning into cutting, and now I'm just sort of at maintenance. So essentially, what I'd just like to say is really quickly, I want to talk about my bulking, and then my cutting, and then the maintaining, and how I find if it fits in macros, dieting, and whether it's useful for it. So you guys might have a different view, but for me, this is what what my experience is with it, and so that's what I'm going to talk about. So in bulking, so I was bulking for about I think it's about 6 to 7 months. I was at 78 kilos. My goal was to hit about 84, 85 kilos, and then cut back down, but to have increased muscle mass because my fat wasn't super low when I started. It wasn't super high. It was around about probably about 14-15%. So I wanted to get that leaner, and I also wanted to get two other things. I wanted to get a lot stronger, so which did happen. I wasn't super strong to start with. Now I'm like reasonable. By no means YouTube strong, which to me essentially means or YouTube lean, which basically means you're a very high standard. This channel isn't for the super elite. This is for you guys who just want some advice, want someone who's not like miles ahead of you, because I think someone who's close to you is more. I feel my videos are more to give sort of an educational approach rather than just videos of me in the gym lifting. I can be good, but it bores me, so it probably bore you. So yeah, with bulking, so that's what I went through, and I wanted to get stronger, and I wanted my legs to get bigger. So I had a specific program. These things, I'll find some way of sticking them on the line. I don't know what format I'll do it in. I might just put it on my Facebook page and type up exactly what happened there. It'll be a bit of a long post, but if I write it up, I'll link it in the description at a later date. But also, please do check out my Facebook page. I put updates. I've got a new phone, and I don't know quite how to download an app so I can do it because it's Windows Phone, and obviously there's a lot less stuff on there. But basically, yeah. So they were my 3 goals, and in order to increase that weight, I wanted to do it in about 6 months. First, I downloaded a macro calorie counter. I think it's my Fitness Pal. It's very good. At the moment, I can't use it because I've got a Windows Phone, so I've got Fat Secret instead. It sounds shitty, but it's pretty good. So that's what I downloaded, although my Fitness Pal crashes all the time. So if you actually know one that doesn't crash, please comment it down the bottom, because that was something that pissed me off so much. You start filling your recipes or whatnot, and it just crashed, and then you've got to search for every single thing again, and it's quite slow. So if you know anything else that works, please comment so other people can see, and me as well. So I started off hitting about 4,000 calories a day. I thought that's what I'd need. I've got quite a fast metabolism, just so you guys are aware. So that's what I thought I'd need to bulk up. Turns out that wasn't really enough. It was happening very slowly. I was getting stronger, but in terms of the size, it wasn't anywhere near as much as I wanted. So I did that for about 4 months, slowly increasing it. And when I say slowly, I mean very slowly. So I got to about 4,000 to 4,300, and I was seeing some gains, but it was very slow. So what I decided to do was increase that to about 5,000 a day, which sometimes did change quite wildly between 4,000 and 5,000, just because I can eat a lot, but in terms of time of the day that you can eat and to not feel too full, it's well, I find it quite hard to eat 5,000 calories a day. And it's expensive. So it depends what you want. Budget's like, really. I'm a student, so yeah, it's expensive. Well, everything's expensive, isn't it? So, Yeah, so some examples of what I did for if it fits your macros for that, because this is something that I solidly did. The rules I followed for if it fits your macros was hit the calorie intake, key, absolute number one. Number two is hit the protein intake. Protein intake was quite high. If anyone ever tells you to hit something like, if you weigh about 80, 90 kilos and someone tells you to hit 250 to 300 grams of protein plus, absolute bullshit, ignore all that. So I was wanting to hit about 160 to 180 grams of protein, um, just obviously to help the muscle increase. Sorry, that's just my girlfriend. It's just messaged me there. Yes, I am going to bed soon. So that's what I wanted to do. So examples would be, in order to fit it in, so it was cheap, is I would finish from the gym, an hour and a half session, have a shower, go to the shop, buy 300 grams of minstrels, wherever you are. If you don't have them, it's just chocolate. It's relatively cheap chocolate and tastes not great. Some people love it. I think it's shit. I'm a little bit high class when it comes to chocolate. Shame my budget doesn't like it, but I do. So I'd have one of them. That's about 1,500 calories, and just taste. And I'd eat that whilst I'm walking home, which is about a 15-minute walk. They'd all be gone, and it tastes like absolute shit. But I ate it because I needed the calories. If you enjoy eating it, that's absolutely fantastic. That's the only downside to me with if it fits your macros. I don't generally like unhealthy food. It's weird, but it's true. But that's what I needed personally in order to hit the calories. So for me, for bulking, if you need to be on quite a high amount, say you're a hard gainer, then by all means go if it fits your macros. It's fantastic for it. And now moving on to cutting. Cutting was a lot less calories. That was hitting about 2,700 to 3,000 calories. At the moment now I'm maintenance cycles, like I said. So that was hitting about 3,000 and slowly getting down to 2,700. Did work. Obviously at first it's quite quick, the cutting, because for what I was eating, the calories is a lot less. But basically it's a lot of water weight you lose, really. Um, so I was doing that, but for me, I didn't really follow if it fits your macros as such. By that I mean I wasn't eating any junk food, so I was still getting macros I wanted to hit, but I didn't do any meal prep. I just ate food that was nutrient dense, so a lot of green vegetables, not a lot of rice because I personally wasn't needing my carb intake quite low, um, and a lot of meat. So that's basically what I wanted to do. So for me, I needed to increase the protein intake, lower the carb intake, and I keep my fats quite high. Fats around about like 80 to 120 grams. It's very high for some people, but for me, that's what seemed to work best. But eating chocolate and stuff, for the number of calories I was eating then, it was the complete opposite to bulking. It's very hard to feel satisfied and feel full when you're eating junk food, because like if you have a bowl of cereal and you have what really would be a useful amount when you're cutting, say about 50 grams, it's so small, it just doesn't make you feel full. Whereas if you're having, like sometimes I have a few hundred grams of garden peas with a few hundred grams of broccoli, a tin of tuna, and some like sweet chili sauce. Very, very low calorie, but makes you feel full. I did used to eat a little bit too much broccoli, and it was a bit boring. But when you're cutting, it's about how you look, not how great the food tastes. You got bulking, cutting. They're just the little sacrifices you got to make, haven't you? Uh, So for that, I really wouldn't recommend it. Now for maintenance, I do use a little bit more of a flexible, a bit fits your macros approach. Um, I haven't been counting my calories as much because I've done that for months, so I know sort of roughly what to hit. I am trying to start to do it again just to make sure that I'm hitting the right sort of balance, just so I haven't gone wildly off for increased calories or whatnot. Because I have put on a little bit of weight, but it's staying now about 80 kilos, a lot lean 80 kilos than I was last year, and a hell of a lot stronger. So what I've done has worked. So if it fits your macros with bulking, does work. You do get very good results. But it is easy just to do if it fits your macros if you're maintaining. Just because I currently have got a lot going on, so I have a set goal, and it's just nice to know that if you want to eat some ice cream, you can do. The main things you just want to do is limit the amount that you're having. If you're having ice cream, for instance, have like less rice with your meal. You just got to be reasonable with things. So I still wouldn't eat like an entire day's worth of junk food. Like that's just a stupid idea. I like to follow the rule that like 10 to 20% of your if the calorie intake can be whatever you want, the rest of it relatively healthy. Because to me, like it's a good balance. It means you still get your food that like gives you a little hit that you like, but it's not very like a lot. And the way I best manage that is by I used to always buy things that were like quite large, just buy smaller portions because you find, well, at least I find that if you're eating say chocolate, a smaller bar gets you that like fix if that's what you're after. Whereas a big bar, I can't remember what I think it's called like there's a certain syndrome or something. But if you have something that's big, say you buy a big bag of crisps or chips, whatever you call them in America, and you put in your hand and you have them, you won't. It's very hard for a lot of people to finish like halfway. You have to finish the whole thing. So in order to limit the calories you have in there, just buy a smaller bag. Sometimes it's more expensive, but at the end of the day, you don't actually want the rest of it, and it's not going to do you any good. So don't buy it. It's a weird way to get your head around because obviously if you go places larger, it's only a little bit extra, and you get all this more. But do you really need all the extra? So, again, just bottom line, just to reiterate, if it fits your macros, this is for hard gainers, which I am. It might not seem it, but I've been training for quite a while. So for bulking, if it fits your macros, it's fantastic. Even better if you actually like bad food. Cutting, I'd recommend if it fits your macros is good, but very, very much limit the amount of bad food you're eating. It really shouldn't be that much. It's just not. You won't be able to get all the nutrients that you want, and yeah. Oh, also with the bulking, make sure you have some like vitamin. If you are going quite full on with the junk food, which is what I did, make sure you're keeping your micronutrients satisfied with vitamin tablets like omega 3s, vitamin Ds, which are obviously I recommend actually all the time. And then if you're maintaining, still if it fits your macros, but sort of in between. So just a small amount to like keep you fixed throughout the day, so you don't go a little bit mental with you're eating clean all the time because it can get a bit dull, but just enough to sort of satisfy and leave it at that. So guys, hopefully that's a little bit informative for you guys if you're wondering whether to go for if it fits your macros and how that's going to affect you, especially for hard gainers, which I know, especially in the YouTube community, there is quite a lot of you. Hard gainers for the win. No, I've not said that phrase in a while. But yeah, guys, I am actually going to be moving place in the next few days, so this might be the last place I take the video in the really dingy dungeon. So hopefully, viewing a house and hopefully signing today, it'll look a lot nicer. So you won't have to be as miserable as me in the dim, dark dungeon of a basement flat, which is shit. So guys, I'll see you later. Just really quickly, subscribe, please. I'm just starting out. Videos will be getting a little bit more entertaining as I end up knowing what I'm doing. But yeah, just subscribe. Fantastic, guys.